Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is called Wasted Youth. It was written by Christopher Smith Adair. It's part of a collection called New Tales of the Miskatonic Valley, and it's available from Drive-Thru RPG. Our game master is Jen Obertacz, and this is episode 1. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Jen?
Thanks, Tom. All right. It is 1928, Arkham, Massachusetts. The very early June, just when it's that late spring, just that hint of summer starting to come in. School's just let out. Kids are everywhere. You know, there's the scent of flowers in the air. The sun's getting hotter, and there's just that promise of everything is just going to be great. And then comes the last couple of weeks, when a series of articles have appeared in the Arkham Examiner. This is the first one.
Deadly Chase Through Arkham by Roberta Henry. It was like a scene out of a crime thriller, or from the headlines of New York or Chicago papers, but it happened here in Arkham. Police conducted the chase through the streets of our town in pursuit of the car that hit and killed Mr. Arthur Hathorne, 65, as he crossed West Pickering Street. After blocking through many city blocks, the fleeing car spun around the corner too quickly and smashed into a wall. The driver, Joseph Dooley, was killed in the crash. All of this would be enough cause for alarm, but the reckless driver in question was but 13 years old. Needless to say, the car was not his. He had stolen it from where one Brian Prickard had parked it. This is a tragedy on many levels. And while our hearts go out to the dead boy and his family, our sympathies are with Mr. Hathorne and his bereaved loved ones. Witnesses claimed they saw Joey, as he was commonly called, smiling and laughing just before he hit Mr. Hathorne, and that he continued to laugh and smile even after leaving the poor man dead on the street. Dooley was a student at Eben S. Draper Elementary School.
Okay, thank you. And then a few days later, this second article appears in the Examiner.
Teenager dies on Arkham Street. Early risers were subject to the peculiar sight this morning as a teenage boy ran screaming down South Peabody Avenue. The boy in question was one Lou Marino, who lived on that street. A student of Arkham High, Marino could be heard to shout angry obscenities of the most awful kind. Then the boy collapsed in the street. Rushing to his side, his neighbors discovered he was dead. This calls to mind the other recent incident with the car chase involving young Joey Dooley. Though in this case, the coroner has determined that poor Lou Marino died when his heart gave out. Of course, heart attacks are rare in children, but they are not completely unknown. While this attack may explain his behavior, it seems as likely that illicit substances were involved, and this caused both actions and his death. The medical examiner maintains that no such evidence was found.
Not exactly a great week in Arkham.
No.
It goes quiet. It goes quiet for about maybe half a week, and then maybe 3 days ago, this third article appeared.
Youth crime epidemic continues. Young Billy Washburn, a student at Eben S. Draper School, was apprehended by police this afternoon after he vandalized the windows of several storefronts along East Main Street. Witnesses say the boy calmly walked up with a baseball bat and began shattering the glass windows. Businesses attacked included the Arkham General Store and Arkham Printing. The boy, who is only 12 years old, attacked Patrolman Harris when that policeman approached him. The patrolman obviously did not expect a vicious attack from a young boy and suffered a broken arm. It took several officers of the law to subdue the delinquent. The child was in such a state that the officers took him to Arkham Sanitarium so that he would not be a danger to himself or others. He remains under the care of the doctors there. The proprietor of the general store, Ryder Adams, is quoted as saying, "It's a crying shame when respectable business people have to endure crimes like this." By all accounts, however, the young boy has heretofore been a respectable member of the society. And unfortunately, this is not an isolated incident. Readers will be well aware of how the growing stories of childhood delinquency in our normally placid town. When will this scourge end? What is to be done? And furthermore, when will Town Hall take action?
So, you all have, in some form or fashion, been contacted by Chief of Police Asa Nichols, who is, understandably, rather baffled by all of this. Brody, he reached out to you first. You two are World War buddies. You know, you don't share a trench with someone and, you know, don't trust them with your life.
Yeah. So, Asa, what do you think could be causing this sort of weird behavior in the youths?
You know, by the way, y'all, you're all in the Arkham Police Station in Asa Nichols' office. Think it's very think you're like hard-boiled detective sort of setup. Big wooden desk, blotter, one of those desk lamps, all that sort of thing. And he's just leaning, and he's about in his early 60s, kind of portly, you know. The years have been kind to him to some degree. And he's just sort of leaning on his desk and just looking over at Brody like, the hell with it, Brody. I don't know. This isn't like anything I've ever seen before.
Well, I mean, we've had delinquents, but not this young, not somebody.
No,
And from what you said, from what the newspaper says, it looks like these were regular, ordinary kids up until this point.
I mean, you remember last year when we had that rash of, before that whole Varga thing, we had that rash of vandalism from some of the Italian gangs.
Well, yeah,
you know,
that you'd expect.
Yeah, that I get. That I understand. But this, you're right. These aren't the type of kids that would do this sort of thing. Some of these kids
could they be on some kind of drugs? Is there something around?
God, I hope not. But at this point, I don't know.
Do we know what the home lives of these children have been? Apologies, I don't know if anyone here would really know who I am.
Go on.
I'm Dr. Ramberg. I studied in Germany under sociologists. I'm kind of pioneering a new field, sociology, and how, you know, people's like upbringings and home life, how can it affect their children, their behaviors subconsciously. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, this epidemic has sparked our interest, and I wonder if maybe I can be of assistance in this problem, but I would need to know more of the children. These crimes, these things they've done, they're horrible.
And yes, by the way, Adrian, you were contacted because the ME kind of knew of you, so he sent the name over to
Okay.
Chief Nichols.
I just didn't know.
Any insight? If you can offer any insight into what causes this sort of problem.
Unfortunately,
you call us in for children? Are you kidding me? Spare the rod.
I did not know everyone was not
child.
Aware.
Listen, Shaw, this ain't like you. These kids, some of these kids are from decent families, Shaw. This ain't like them.
Well, what makes a person a decent family? A decent family usually disciplines their kids pretty well. I mean, that's
what I'd say, but
right, and this isn't happening. Clearly, the kids have too much free time, no discipline, I don't know, socialism,
or perhaps
whatever it is.
like we have maybe repression from childhood trauma. We don't know, or recent trauma that is being repressed.
Trauma.
Well, do we know, or do we
Kids
have to
grow
look
up,
into these
doctor.
kids' families?
We should look. Is there any chance we can find these families, or
we've at least got something. He flips through a couple of files like he's trying to keep his files straight. I can probably get you guys, or get you gentlemen, the addresses if I have to, but at this point, you sort of see him like rub at his forehead, and like this file on his desk is like bursting. So it's going to take him a while to find anything in there. Oh, by the way, Adrian, what do you look like? Same with you, Brody.
I think probably just how I look, but
yeah, the black hat, beard.
Okay.
Pretentious scarf.
Okay, and then
however, I am only 37.
okay, and then
I'm 34. So.
All right, and then Darius, for everyone who may not know you aside from Philip, because I don't know if you've run into anybody else in here. What do they see when they look at you?
So when they look at Darius, they see a hulking, large man, cleanly shaven, but dressed fairly disheveled. You see little scars all over his face and cheek. If you look down at his knuckles, the scars are still there, but a bit less, tiny. Clearly, he's seen some things, and he's not particularly shy about getting his hands dirty.
Okay.
Dr. Sprague?
Dr. Sprague is balding, about 45, has a mustache. You recognize the Sprague because you do know that there is a Virgil Sprague that's coroner, and his brother Ephraim is the medical examiner. You happen to, if anyone remembers, Dr. Vincent Sprague is one of the doctors at Arkham Asylum.
Correct. However, I will make a mention, Billy Washburn is not your patient. He's one of your colleagues, but he's not yours.
Right. And I go, well, it seems to me like a couple of the kids there were actually didn't have any issues up to this time point. It sounds like some of the behavior might have been a break or maybe induced by something. I'm not doubting that Darius's idea of that there might have been some issue with discipline, but at least one of the kids had I was acting completely different from what they normally do. So we shouldn't throw out that it was just a behavioral issue. It could be a mental or maybe, as they have suggested, some type of drug-induced.
Okay. Also,
you're a Sprague, aren't you? I know your brother. Good man.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Clancy, you would notice that as soon as you come into the room, Chief Nichols sort of gives you a double take. Is like, oh.
Nichols, I called him in.
Yeah.
Really?
When you ask for help, pickers can't be choosers, Nichols.
Fine.
This journalist, Mr. Philip Clancy.
This ain't gonna make the papers, is it?
I don't know yet, but I'm here to write an article on it. I'm walking up to him, hand out, gonna shake his hand in a long trench coat. Kind of look a little well put together, but a little nervous walking in. I'm kind of in Darius's shadow, stretching out. That big pile of papers as I'm reaching across his desk. I'm gonna knock it over.
Okay.
Take his hand and terribly sorry.
Hang on 1 second there. Philip, That I think might be a. Is there anything like us? Yes. You're. I'm sorry. You're going to have to give me a sleight of hand for that one.
Very clumsy. All right, we'll give this a shot. Oh, no. Nope. Can't spend.
So you certainly go to try to do that, but you actually, how badly did you fail, by the way?
I rolled a 77.
Okay.
I'm not a.
Various face palms.
It was. Yeah. It was bad.
This isn't Delta Green, or that would have been a crit fail, but that was still a fail. So instead of, not only did you not make that move the way you want, you actually knocked the file off his desk. Papers go everywhere.
Oh, terribly sorry. Terribly sorry.
Hell. He shoots you. No, sit. I'll do this.
Oh, you sure?
He shoots you a poisonous glare as he goes to his papers.
I'm not paying attention. I'm going down and helping pick up the stuff.
Always a gentleman, Clancy. Always a gentleman.
Oh, of course. But I am scanning it as fast as I possibly can. Is there anything that I'm happen to see?
Well, in that case, that to me, if you're looking at documents and it's very quick, I would probably call that. What do you think, Tom? Spot hidden or? Because he's looking at documents really fast.
Library use?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Library. Yeah. Make that a library use.
All right. I've got a better shot. Oh yeah, that's a hard success.
Okay. Well, you definitely see names, addresses, maybe a few interesting little tidbits about let's see, marijuana possession or breaking and entering or rape or anything like that. And you've definitely started to make some connections, but it doesn't seem like any of it's connected to this case. But do you have some ideas for your next story? Okay. Plus, you've sort of ferreted away some of the more salacious sounding stories to the back of your head to sort of slip to Darius later.
So
I will note all that.
Nichols, what do you want us to do about these kids? Why do you even call us here? Look,
we're stumped. We don't know what we're doing here. So, this is completely out of our realm of possibility. We don't even our juvie unit is completely baffled. We don't know what this is. So we thought, bring in some outside help, consult, see what you dig up. It seems like this might require some more. He kind of winces as he says this, like it's almost physically paining him to say this. More unorthodox methods.
Darius grins.
Two questions.
Philip is reading one of those juicier files. I just step back and just start reading through one of those more interesting.
Two questions.
Yeah.
Where are the kids now? Were they returned to their parents?
Well,
are they incarcerated? They shouldn't.
Two of them are dead, aren't they?
Yeah. Marino and Dooley are dead. Washburn's at the sanitarium.
Are they buried? Yep.
At this point, yeah, I'd say.
What's the coroner? Any autopsy?
We'll have reports from Vincent's brother, yes?
Yeah, we did have the ME look at them.
We have their addresses, so we can talk to their families.
Do you have the
We
report?
should probably start there.
Do you have the medical report?
We could probably actually talk to my brother, Ephraim, about that. He could probably to get bear from his mouth and look at his report.
I agree. I agree with Dr. Sprigg on that regard.
Yeah, just he's pretty reticent about giving out that sort of thing, but hey, Dr. Sprague, if that's your brother, you think he'll talk to you.
I think we need to we're trying to find out the reason why these boys have done this.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to figure out what sort of cause. I guess that's kind of a sociologist's bailiwick. Talk to their friends, talk to their teachers, talk to their families.
See what kind of
And see if
connections
they-
they had, because
Yeah.
maybe
See if
there was
like
some
any-
connection they
yeah.
all had in contact with.
Did they know each other? The ages vary, I've seen from the articles, but that is
It's
all.
not a
all
big
I've
enough town to all be in high
They
school
go to the
or
same
junior high
school.
school.
Evan
Could be-
Draper.
Could be the same coach or piano teacher,
Were
or
they all around the same age?
Two of them were 12 and 13. One was at Arkham High, but his age wasn't given.
So Nichols,
Okay, well, he was
these
in
are the
high
ones
school.
that
So
made it to the paper. What about
the one
ones
that's
that
alive,
didn't?
how old is he?
At this, Darius, Nichols double takes. Oh God, I hope you're wrong about that one.
And is it just boys or is it also girls acting out too, Nichols?
These are the only reports we know about.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Mr. Shaw,
Brody, what's up?
What was your previous question? That you
I mentioned, Mr. Hammer, these are the three we know about. How many don't we know about? Parents have a way of not being too forthcoming about their children acting up.
It's
well,
not
that's-
uncommon for that.
that's probably true. Arkham's a fairly small town though, so I mean
And I
things
could-
get around. It's hard to
and
keep secrets.
We can talk to this Roberta Henry. She seems to be the one writing most of these articles, I'm sure. Philip, maybe you know people.
Yeah, Philip, you work at the Examiner. You know her. You might not be super close with her, but you've definitely at least talked.
Is there a chair in here?
Oh yeah, there's like a ring of chairs in front of his desk.
Oh, okay, great. I'm gonna sit down. Is there coffee?
Um,
There's
Not-
I'm smoking a
always
cigarette and
We're not here
going
for tea
through-
time, Clancy.
whatever files and sitting down, and when I'm done with one, I'm gonna put it on his desk and pick up another.
at some point you see like a hand come in front of you on the file you're reading. I'll take those back, please.
Oh yeah, okay. And I'll hand him that one. And I'll pick up another. Just kind of going through.
None of these files are related to the case.
Oh, you never know that.
Clancy, we're here
Mr.
for a job.
Clancy. We're here for a job, not for your
Oh,
personal gain.
there's jobs all over. This whole pile here is full of jobs.
Yeah, they didn't hire you for those jobs.
And I'll
Am I
thank you
getting
not
paid?
to keep reading police sensitive material. He's
Nothing we don't already know about at the paper, anyways.
So Darius goes over and pretends to sort of shoo Clancy away and then go, all right, grab what you can.
Of course. Hey,
But then he
here,
tries to
this looks pretty good. I'll
right, he
just
tries
pass
to
him
like
one.
block the view of everyone so that you grab what you can, but like he pushes you away from the table.
I definitely think that someone should go visit the school at the high school
I was thinking that you and I could do that, Dr. Sprague.
but I think first, you could go to the school. We could go to school, but we also need to talk to my brother. What do we want to do first?
Perhaps your brother first, just for a jumping off point. Perhaps he can send us in the right direction.
Yeah,
Billy's in Arkham.
yeah.
Close by. So I
Pages
think
per
we
day
can go
of
the
cycles.
But is anyone else interested in accompanying us in this to hear, or do we
I
wanna
have neither the experience or the clout to go to any of those places or the asylum. I'd go visit one of the families.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think
So,
the,
so I don't really mind. Take as long as you want.
Yeah,
I would ask Brody to take notes, please.
Of course.
and
Um,
trust me, Brody, you're you're better with people than most people I know, so you should
Well, that's 'cause
be able to
I'm-
get something.
because I'm neither a private investigator or the police or a
And maybe
shrink.
our maybe Darius Shaw and Philip Clancy can check out the journalist that's been writing these articles. See
Exactly.
what they've already dug up.
Yeah, I plan to go talk to her.
All
Sounds
right.
good to me.
Okay, so we've got Brody's going to talk to some of the families. Ramberg and Sprague are going to the morgue. And Shaw and Clancy are going to the examiner. Okay.
Shall we meet back at the Roach House for lunch?
Yeah, it
I
sounds
don't
good.
know where that is.
It's the ranch house. It's the diner, but we
Yeah.
all call it the Roach House.
I will find it.
They got some good meatloaf there.
Oh, trust me, you haven't lived until you've tried that, Dr. Ramberg.
The meatloaf is delicious.
I look forward to it. Good. I wish all of us good fortune in our day.
Okay. So, since it's right here on my paper, we're going to the morgue first. So, Dr. Sprague and Dr. Ramberg, it turns out the morgue is not a decent distance away from the police station. It's actually out on West Street in the basement of St. Mary's Hospital. So, of course, I'm assuming one of you has a car, or both of you do. Okay.
Basically, so
Pretty, easy drive, no big issue there. When you finally get there, you head down to the basement. Vincent, you've been here multiple times. You could basically get yourself in here blindfolded. You head into the office, and you sort of see that instead of your brother at his desk, over at the assistant's desk, you see the morgue attendant, Robert Dent. You know this guy. Very much, if you want to get information out of him, oh boy. The man is tight with his info. He looks up. Ah, Dr. Sprague. What a surprise. Come in. He's about maybe mid-30s, dark hair, tall, very professional looking, very much has that, like, I know everything look on his face.
Which, in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, in about 10 years, he's going to be one of my patients. And I'm going to drug him up and...
perhaps another time, Dr. Sprague.
This is in my mind. I'm not done.
Okay. I would go forward and be like, I do not believe we've been acquainted, and like kind of put my hand forward.
This is Mr. Dent.
Dr. Adrian Ramberg. I've come all the way from Amber to visit about your delinquency problem.
Oh yes, that's been interesting. But is that why you both came?
Yes. It seems that the police chief wanted us to look into it because he's a bit stumped, and he thought he would want us to go from it from a mental angle. And I thought I would come here to see if there had been any anything that my brother or you had noticed along the lines of either pharmaceuticals or anything odd medically about the two boys.
Do you have any maybe psychiatric evaluations or for us?
Dr. Ramberg, I don't have any of those, and unfortunately, Dr. Sprague, you know as well as I do, I can't release that information. You're not an authorized party.
Well, I'm telling you that if you would like to give the chief a call, he has given me permission, me and the good doctor here, permission to look into this.
Do you have it in writing?
Did the chief give us to it in writing?
He did not.
No.
Actually, no. Back up. Actually, Dr. Sprague, give me a luck roll, just a standard. Luck roll.
All right. What is my not the world's greatest luck, but we'll try. I passed.
Okay. It's messy and you're not sure if the signature is completely right, but it does appear to be something that he sort of passed it to you on the way out. It could have fallen out of one of his papers for all you know.
Tax
I must have
return? What?
I must have had an idea that we might run into Dent. So I hand him with that.
You see his face sort of freeze. This seems to be in order. Sort of sighs, folds the paper, turns, files it into a little cabinet on the side, and then goes over to another cabinet, opens it. All right. So these reports, he says, as he pulls them out. Let's see. You want Dooley and Marino, yes?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So, he puts them on the table. You know, you can get these for a couple of minutes. You get to look at those for a few minutes. I can't promise much more than that.
I thank you for your time. I hope this will help us put an end to this an epidemic that's been plaguing your town.
I hope so. All right.
I will read one, and Sprague will, and the other doctor will read one, and I'll have
take one.
and I'll quickly pull out my notebook and jot anything down that catches my eye.
Okay. Both of you, please give me library use, because then you're looking at this document.
All right.
That is a 66. I failed.
Standard pass.
Okay. So, Dr. Ramberg, you've got Lou Marino. You don't really notice anything terribly out of the ordinary. In fact, you're actually having a moment of like, wait a minute. You're looking at this expecting German, and it's in English, and while the languages are very similar, you're definitely having like a blank out. Like, wait, what does that word mean again?
I can't read. Help. All right, fair.
Dr. Sprague, you're looking at this, and a couple things you notice. Well, the first thing you notice is that based on the reports, it seemed like everything looks normal for the most part, except in the stomach area, the stomach contents, there's maybe less than 4 grams or so of this like it's listed in the report as tarry black substance. And it's basically listed as, you know, unidentified.
Okay.
That's really the only thing that really jumps out at you.
All right.
But you do kind of notice that there's a note in the section talking about the brain that goes, this seems odd. But unfortunately, you know, his handwriting's not as good as it could be, so it's a little hard to sort of see.
All right. Then I'll take a quick look at the other file, since I can see that my German co-partner is having some difficulties. Oh, here, take a look at this one now. And I take a look at it, and I'm looking for the same similarity with the other patient.
Right. So now, yeah. So you just handed him Joey Dooley. You've got Lou Marino now.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me library use, please.
All right. I passed again.
Okay.
I passed
Barely.
this time. Just a normal pass, though.
Okay. So, Dr. Sprague, you notice that stomach contents, same thing. about less than 4 grams, tarry black substance. Again, unidentified. And from what you could tell, he seemed to have had that same handwriting problem as he did on the brain section there as well. You're honestly not sure what happened. Ephraim's never really had the best handwriting, so sometimes that area is a little bit more chicken scratchy.
Mm-hmm. But having grown up with him, do I have a chance of actually possibly guessing what it might be?
You know what? Give me a look.
No, it's really bad.
This is a bad day. You're definitely looking at that and going,
So I assume that I figure out that there's some sort of black tar in these their bodies.
Right. You notice that as well, but like that's really the thing that really jumps at you.
Okay.
And again, you don't even try to decipher the stuff, the chicken scratch in the brain section, because again, you're not sure you're German or English or any other language you know to decipher that.
I was struggling to read the first piece of paper. I was like, Second one, I was like, okay. But
is Dent still there?
Dent is, watching you both kind of, intently, because he's only giving you a couple of minutes and he's not leaving the room.
No, I didn't think so. Dent, you wouldn't happen to know what my brother meant by the brain issue here, and I point to show him the thing.
He has a look at it. Was that that was the day we had about 3 different clients. His gloves were so sticky with, you don't want to know.
Yeah, I understand.
It made holding a pen very difficult.
Did you collect any samples of this tarry substance?
No, sorry, we disposed of it.
Very well.
And unfortunately, I really can't say much else without violating more confidentiality than I already have. So if you gentlemen are both done.
I think so, but I appreciate you at least helping us a bit, Dent.
Of course. You would know, actually, Dr. Sprague, give me psychology. Rambert, you can too if you'd like.
Okay.
Yes. Hard success.
I didn't
Okay.
pass.
Dr. Sprague, you worked with Dent for a long time. You definitely notice his smile is very plastic looking. Like he just wants you out of here right now.
Mm-hmm. And I figure what I said is actually grates on his nerves because he had no intention to help us, and by being polite and smiley and everything else, just grinds him even more, right? Good. I'm thinking in the back of my head, yeah, a few more years of this, and he'll go right over the edge.
Have a good day, gentlemen, he says.
Oh, you too.
As he collects the files with much more force than was probably necessary.
And I'll make sure that my brother Ephraim hears of your kind work here.
I turned to Sprague and I'm like, he was nice. I didn't get any of that. I failed that psychology role. I'm like, well, he was really nice.
Yeah, wasn't he? And I walk away. There's a little hop to my skip, my step.
So I guess we'll probably head to the asylum where the survivor is being held, I guess.
Yeah, that would we have enough time probably for that.
Yeah, so it's probably like, I would say, like 10, 11 a.m. So it's, early, like later morning, starting into afternoon. You probably have enough time to do that before making the trip over to the Roach. But
yeah, I think we'll do that, and you can transition.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to camera pan over to the Arkham Examiner building. Now, of course, Shaw and Clancy, the two of you are very familiar with this place. Aside aside from probably Shaw's office, you're probably in here a lot.
So Shaw elbows Clancy and go, all right, hey, what do you manage to pick up at the chief's office? Anything good?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say as we're walking or driving over, I'll just, Darius, my colleagues, they're idiots.
Oh yeah.
Why don't I just call?
That's why I work with you, my friend. That's why.
Why don't I just call them, tell them to put a file together on this? I'm taking it over, and we'll pick it up at some other time. I say we get over to the sanitarium and talk to that kid that's still alive.
I hear you. What we can do is when we do come and pick it up, talk to Berta a little bit, see what she knows. Again, I think she's always had a little thing for me. I'm sure we could work something out.
She's writing that in between her women etiquette article. So that she didn't put any time into that.
I don't read that much, my friend. I don't read that much. But hey, you know what?
Trust me.
The chief is paying us by the day, so the longer this thing takes, the better, right? I do agree. We need to get to that sanitarium. Yep, sorry.
Shaw and or Clancy, one of or both of you, please give me a luck roll.
That's correct. You do it, Clancy. You're probably luckier than I.
Yeah, 29 out of 50.
Okay, so you finished that talk about Shaw and her etiquette right before the elevator opens and Roberta Shaw makes an appearance.
Oh, hey, Roberta. Great to see you. You know that I'm taking over that case, the kids, the two dead kids.
Roberta Shaw, she's the lead reporter at the Advertiser. It's the Advertiser. My mistake. Sorry. She's the lead reporter at the Advertiser for news. So she, of course, knows you've been after her job for years. She's not buying any of that. However, so for anyone who might not remember, Roberta Henry, probably about 5'4", dressed in a very smart suit and close hat, close cropped flapper hair. Definitely has a flinty look in her eye, despite all of despite all of her sort of demure looks. Yeah, she'll nail you to a wall if she thinks you're patronizing her. Yes, Clancy and Shaw, lovely to see you both. How can I help you?
Always a pleasure.
Well, as you know, I'm on this case. We got called in by the police chief. He's put us on it.
Did you now?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'm sure I mentioned something on the way out the door. Maybe you didn't hear me.
I'm sure I didn't. Look, I've been covering these stories already. If you want to you're the investigative reporter. That this is your beat, Clancy. I get it, but you see her sort of grit her teeth a little bit. Either of you want to give me psychology, please?
Yep, I'll do it. 27 over 40, pass.
You got it. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't pass anyways.
Okay. You definitely can tell Shaw that she's gritting her teeth. She wants to say something. You're not sure what, but she's holding back because as much as you try to be polite with her, or at least try to be polite with her, you two have never really gotten along.
So tell me, Berta, what's the deal with these cases? And I'm not just talking about you covering it. I don't care what people write about kids. But when you have Nichols calling me, of all people, to look into it. I mean, you know me. Me, kids, and my fist, usually I make the news after that.
Yeah, I know. She sort of gives you a side-eyed glance. You always see too much.
Or not enough, Berta.
She sort of gives you a very huh? Look. timer. She sort of gets into like a bit of a snit as she sort of storms past Clancy on the way to her office. You can follow her if you want.
Oh, I'm following.
yeah.
Oh my God.
I just expect her to have the papers ready.
Yeah, wouldn't miss this for the world. She's about to rip someone up.
Meanwhile, as she sort of glares at, she's not even paying attention to both of you, but she's sort of talking out loud. That second string part-timer got to the second case. That was my story, and he just decided to. Ugh!
Oh, he got to the Blue Marino case before you did.
Look. She's like, what made you think I'm going to be telling either of you anything else than that? I'm not stupid. I need to keep my commission.
Well, do you want that part-timer, whoever it is, getting the fourth one or the fifth one? Because here's what I'm thinking, Berta. These are the three we know about. Which ones don't we know about? At least it's keeping it in the family.
Shaw, you're going to have to give me a persuade on that one.
Ah, crap. Can I? I'm not. All right. Persuade. All right, let's see. Oh, 22 out of 20, so I'm going to spend 2 luck to make it a pass.
Okay.
Come on.
Right. She sort of gives you like this very steely glare. But then you can see the moment something in her behind her eyes just shifts, and like you can see those the little wheels turning in her brain. Look, I don't know much more than what I've already written. I don't know what else you could want from me.
So if they all happened at Draper, did you ever go and talk to the school? Did you go and like there has to be a pattern, right? Once
that's the damnedest thing, she says as you finally enter into her office, and she just sort of absentmindedly waves you two into the chairs in front of her desk. That's the damnedest thing. The only thing I can think of pattern-wise would be that they're at the, I don't know, maybe it's the schools. I don't know, because it just, you know, you can kind of see on like one wall that she has a sort of like a little board with like names, locations, information about various incidents, like all over the board with like bits of string, but some of them are like kind of crumpled and hanging off, like she's pinned and unpinned things multiple times, like she's trying to make this make sense, and it's just not.
Well, you're a very busy woman. Just hand us the file. I'll make sense of it, and we'll be out of your hair.
There's not really a file, though, Clancy. It's just
what you got. I didn't think you had too much, so.
Like I said, I've got basically just. She sort of shrugged. She's like, "If I had any more, I'd let you know." But really, I've got nothing.
I knew. Okay, well then I'm getting up and I tell Darius I knew this was a waste.
Hey, I guess you were right, Clancy. I thought she was sharper. Let's go.
But, well, you know what? Next time you come to me for information, well, you'll be finding my door shut tight.
Well, you know how much I come to you for information.
Right. But don't worry, Clancy. This seat is going to be occupied for many more years to come.
Awesome. And I'm putting my cigarette out on whatever she has there and walking out the door.
She's got an ashtray. This is the 20s. Everyone smokes.
Yeah, everyone has an ashtray.
Berta, always a pleasure. Tips his hat.
And it's Roberta.
Pleasure, Berta. Looks up.
I told you, Darius, this is going to be a waste. Let's get over there. Let's hightail it over. The kid that's alive. That's the key.
No, I hear you. We'll probably want to find out who stole the second case from her. Don't want them stealing our meal ticket.
Mhm.
If we run into anyone, we'll deal with it.
That's true. Either your mouth with my fist, one way or another, we'll deal with it.
Okay. In that case, if you guys are heading to the sanitarium as well, we are going to pan over to Brody. Okay.
Right.
So you've got the addresses of all three kids.
Right. I would like to head on over to Mr. Joey Dooley's house.
Okay, let me
Speak to his
grab that for
parents.
you. Okay, so the address you're given for Joey Dooley is 149 East College Street in French Hill.
Okay. Oh. So I will go there, park my car, go up to the front of the house. So what money level would this be? Like poor or middle class?
Let me check. I actually have a map for this. I didn't think I was gonna need it today, but I guess I'm wrong.
French Hill would be in the French Hill's adjacent to the university district, college.
Right.
District.
So it's kind of a mix of, there's that sort of upper class student area, but then also the place has to have workers too, so it tends to be a bit more I guess you could say rougher.
Middle. Yeah.
Middle, yeah.
So I'll knock on the door.
And as it opens, you see a very large man come to the door. One thing you'll notice right away is that he's very muscled, in that very stout, probably lifts heavy things for a living type thing.
Mr. Dooley.
Can I help you?
Yes, Mr. Dooley. My name is Brody Hamner. I've been asked, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you some questions about your son.
At this, his face just starts to shut down almost immediately. Who sent you?
I don't want to intrude on your grief, but who sent me? I'm been sent by the sheriff, but he's actually asking us to. I'm more like a private investigator, though I'm not officially one of those. We've had a number of other children having odd cases, and we want to try to find some sort of correlation between them. Would you mind if I talk to you for a bit? And I'm very sorry for your loss.
I mean,
do I persuade to get inside?
Yes, that's persuade. Thank you, please.
Unless I just persuaded you. I got a 001. I get in the house. I move in. I renovate.
They give you all their furnitures.
They give me
the pretty much.
Wallet.
And finally, he sort of stares at you for a second, and then all of a sudden, it's like just a lot of tension just eases out of his frame. Come on in. Let's talk.
Are you married, sir? Is your wife here?
My wife died many years ago.
You've been raising your son.
It's just me and Joey, and well, it's not easy, raising a boy alone.
Well, I understand that. So where do we begin? From everything that I've been told up to this point, your son was a rather good boy, and this was not like him at all to borrow somebody's car.
It was, he's like, that's what I don't understand. The boy's always had a bit of a mouth on him, preteen, right?
Perfectly fine. Sure. 12 years old.
12 years old.
13.
Oh, 13. But, and of course, I've had to hit the bell to him now and again. Normal. But then he's been, I don't know. It seemed like he's been sassing more than usual lately.
Well, it is this time. He's starting to hit puberty, and they start to boys get rebellious. That's just
Yeah,
part of nature.
oh yeah, we were the same.
Of course, we were. Yeah,
Holy terrors to our parents, right?
yeah. Some of the marks on my ass has just started to fade. Uh,
Oh yeah.
has he been hanging around any friends, new friends? Has he talked about his teachers or anybody like that?
No, not really. I mean, he didn't have any trouble at school. People liked him, but didn't seem to have anybody new that I knew about anyway. But but you and I never really told our folks about about people we talked to all the time either, did we?
Especially the naughty stuff that we got ourselves into.
But Joey knows if he ever
Did he smoke?
knew.
Did he smoke or drink?
No, not at all. I mean, the
Not
odd
that you
thing
knew
was,
of.
no, but the weird thing is, he'd started to he stole some candy down from the corner store. Never did that before. Oh, my belt arm got a workout that day. But then this thing with the car, I thought things were looking up for a bit, but then he actually has to clench his jaw and look away for a second because, well, it's almost like it's hitting him in waves.
Right. How did he how old was he when his mother passed away?
8, maybe 9.
And how did he take that? Pretty rough.
I mean, no kid likes to lose a parent, but
Well, and at 8, you don't really understand what it means either.
and how do you explain to your son that mama's never coming back?
Yeah, it's very rough. And you chose not to remarry or anything like that. Too busy working.
Too busy and, well, given the accident and all,
I move over to sort of sit next to him wherever he is, and I'll put my hand on his shoulder, and I'll say, "Now, you understand we're all deeply grieved that your son died, and we've got a number of other children that may be at risk. I'd like to ask you, would you give me permission to look through your son's room, his things? Promise I won't be disrespectful to anything."
I almost wanted to tell you no, he never likes. Yeah, okay. If it'll help the other kids.
And then afterwards, I'll leave you. But we've got a few people in town. If you'd like to talk to them, this is not an easy thing for you.
You as anyone else, I'd have probably socked you for that, but maybe.
Just trying to help. Where's your son's room?
Down the hall, on the left.
Thank you very much. And I'll go down and do a spot hidden.
Also, give me a listen as you head down to his room.
Okay. 93, I don't hear him crying. I wouldn't listen to him crying anyway. Where's my spot hidden? I got a 58 out of 60.
Okay.
So I'm going to go in and look for where I would hide my shit.
You you do manage to find, like, you checked like loose floorboards in the bedpost, in or
the
under
mattress.
the mattress, that type of thing. And aside from what appears to be some filched candy wrappers and just like some random notes here and there.
I don't find anything.
No, I mean, like you spot where he would find that stuff, but as for what was in there, surprisingly, there's so aside from the filched candy, there's nothing.
You said candy wrappers. I'll take those.
Mm-hmm.
That certainly could be an avenue to introduce some sort of drug that we are not aware of. So I will take the wrappers anyway.
Okay.
And if all I see is evidence that he was a perfectly normal boy and there's no stash of black tar heroin hiding behind his
No.
mama's picture or anything like that.
And yes, there is actually a photo. There is like a black and white picture of him at probably about maybe 5 with his mother on the bedside table.
So the only other slight thing I'll do is I'll ask, can I roll a psychology roll to see if anything in a normal boy's room just seems wrong or out of place?
Go right ahead.
I don't even think I have psychology, but whatever.
But you made a good argument, and no, okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
really seems out of place.
Yeah, no. Aside from just the stuff you found, nothing seems out of place. It's just at one point there was a lively 12-year-old boy in this house, and now there isn't.
So I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave the room.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go back out and I will, if I have a card, probably everybody had cards back then. Mm-hmm. I'll give him my card and I'll say, just listen, if you need help or you need to talk to somebody, call me. And I'll can't be easy on you right now. So
no.
As far as I'm concerned, everything seems perfectly normal with your son. We're going to find out what's doing this, though.
He actually, reaches over and puts his hand on your shoulder and gives you that look straight in the eye. Like you can sort of feel that strength in his grip, that this would not be a guy you would want to face in a bar fight. You do that, you hear?
I will keep you informed. And I will leave. And then my next stop is going to be the next dead boy.
Lou Marino.
Louis Marino's house. Do them if you want, or
okay. To me. All right.
They're doing Washburn, correct? He's in the asylum.
Yeah, Washburn's in the asylum. So, all right. So, you, Brody, have a lot to think about as you're getting back in your car and heading for the Marino house. Mm-hmm. Pan over to Arkham Sanitarium. Dr. Sprague, you and Dr. Ramber get there first, because obviously you work here, you know where you're going.
Yes, I say, and I show my badge. And I have the other doctors sign in. And this is a colleague from Germany who wants to see how us in America operate.
Guten Tag. I'm Dr. Adrian Ramber. Specialty sociology. It's a bit new.
The clerk is like, I see. But of course, any friend of Dr. Sprague is a friend of ours. Just sign here and here, and you'll come right in.
Is our colleague?
I sign it.
Who's taking care of the Marsh case?
Washburn.
Washburn's case, I mean.
Give me 1 second. I need to find that.
I understand.
Yes. That's actually Dr. Harcourt.
Is he in?
Let me ring him.
All right.
She gets on the phone, and Dr. Sprague, since he's your colleague, luck roll, please.
No choice. Well, that time I made it. So
okay. Yes, Dr. Harcourt. Dr. Sprague would like to speak with you concerning a patient with a new colleague? Yes? Yes? Oh, wonderful. I'll send him right up.
Yes. Oh, and when you get a chance, I would also like to talk to the orderly and nursing staff that's working with that patient later on too.
Of course, of course. Let's see. She flips through her clipboard. Who are one of them today? Ah, here we are. You're gonna want to talk to Jim Bartlett and Tommy Slocum are the orderlies.
Okay. Excellent.
And she's flipping through another clipboard. Let's see, where is it? Ah, here we are. Trudy Houghton is the nurse.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so kindly. You have a wonderful day.
Of course, of course. And as you're about ready to pass her and head into the building, Shaw and Clancy, you guys are coming in shortly after them. It's up to you whether or not you catch them.
Do we see like their backs, or has it already closed? Or
You sort of see their backs. They're just leaving the reception desk and heading for the elevator.
Okay, so I'm gonna elbow Clancy and go, doctors, you beat us to it.
Do it now.
Do we hear that? Do I pretend to hear that?
Do it.
How
do I
loud?
feel-
How loud were you being, Darius?
Darius isn't a quiet boy.
So,
and now,
so basically,
Outside
the two
voice.
of you, basically the two of you just hear this
Just
big
run it
echoing boom.
now, is there
Running
any
into an
past
asylum and just
history
start
between our characters, or do I really have any issues with anyone here?
I would imagine I'm polite to your brother because he lets me see all the dead bodies.
You probably know Darius in passing. Like you said, your brother worked with him more than you do,
Mhm.
or rather, Virgil worked with him more than you do. Ephraim wouldn't give him the time of day.
Right.
Clancy, you don't know him very well, but you're a smart man, and you know if he's often attached at the hip to Shaw, you kind of get a sense that they tend to be two peas in a pod in that respect.
All right. Well, maybe this might help me. So I go, Leah, go ahead. I will sign those two in too. They're going to help me with something.
Oh, of course.
This is Mr. And I go, this is Mr. Shaw and Mr. Clancy. And these are, we're working on a special case for the sheriff's department.
Oh, of course. Mr. Shaw, Mr. Clancy, just sign here and here, please.
So Darius holds a pen like you would hold like a dagger and signs in block letters.
Okay.
I'm gonna take it after Darius is finished and sign my name quickly and just start flipping through.
Excuse me.
What?
He is a newspaper reporter. He has a tendency to like to look at things more than he should.
I should say so. Be careful around Dr. Harcourt. He's not going to like that.
Well, I'm going to take care of that shortly. I said,
Thank
come
you.
with me, gentlemen. We're going to go to my office first because I want to give you some information that I've already found out. And we can split off because I know Harcourt already. And as much as, Clancy, you want to get things, you might not be the right person to talk to Harcourt. However, I have some other people I want you to talk to here at the facility as we get to my office. All right. And I go, it seems that Dr. Ramberg and I have discovered that both patients who were dead had some type of black tarry substance in their stomach. Now,
Other than that, they were normal.
Well, except that there was something mentioned about the brain. Now, obviously, our current patient here probably hasn't been checked that carefully brain-wise because he's still alive. However, I do have the name of the nurse that's been on call, Miss Hoffman, and the two
Huffton.
Hoffman, and also the two orderlies, Slocum and Bartlett. And I thought you two would be perfect for talking to the nurse and to the two orderlies, because we want to find out if any strange behaviors, but more importantly, if anything has either come out one way or the other in a way of black tarry substance.
Sure, it's not just smoking. It's good for the lungs.
Well, not that, usually it's lungs and not around 4 grams of it. 4 grams.
It was in there. We found it in their gut, you see. Well, it was found. Unfortunately, there were no samples taken and it was disposed of.
But the thing is at least if we can find out that this boy had the same type of stuff, that gives us a touch point for all 3 of possibly what may be causing this odd behavior. And I know that Mr. Clancy would then be wondering, where are they getting this strange substance from?
Of course.
Could it be a nefarious drug wing or something else? So, we'll hit Harcourt because how some of these doctors are. They're going to be turned off by your quick punch questions, Clancy. But, I will ask him, being his, a fellow doctor, and then I will gladly share the information with you.
And we'll share our information.
If that works for you, Mr. Shaw.
Make good sense, Doctor.
Excellent.
And I like you and your brother. That makes good sense to me.
And I know that, Shaw, you have a way with the ladies. You might be able to get a little bit more information than I would from the nurse.
Shaw laughs and elbows you maybe a bit too hard. All right, Clancy, let's go.
All right. Then I will take Dr. Ramberg to Harcourt and let the other 2 take care of the other several subjects.
Okay, so in that case, you 2 are going to leave Dr. Sprague's office and split up to go your separate ways. Dr. Sprague, you've had to give directions as to where you can most likely find these 2 orderlies, or at least descriptions of them, because you know who they are.
Yes, I write down the names, and I will write a note saying that I have given them permission to ask these questions.
Okay.
And if there's any issues, I will take full responsibility.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so actually, let's talk to the orderlies first. So Shaw and Clancy, you guys are up.
All right, Clancy. So you remember that case 3 months ago with the hobos and that landlord? Yeah.
Yes.
And while we're here, we have a doctor's note. So let's see what we can get out of this.
Let's do this.
All right. So we probably go to like their brick room or something like that to look for the orderlies first. Let's say.
You sort of get an idea. You do see a door that says employees only. It does, however, appear to be locked.
Just locked or locked?
Locked.
Just knocking.
It kind of cracks open, and a nurse you don't recognize is you're given the description of like Tammy Houghton. This doesn't look like her. In fact, it's like a very like hatchet of an older woman nurse. Yes? Can I help you?
Hi, we're here looking for Nurse Tammy Houghton. Tammy Houghton. Man,
Come on, you know her.
I know who you're talking about, young man. I just not sure why someone like you would be looking for that sweet thing.
We got a letter. We need to go talk to her.
Let me see that. Dr. Sprague. What?
good man. One of my best friends.
All right. She's not in here. She's on duty. And if you're also looking for, look at this note again, Bartlett and Slocum, what do they have to do with any of this?
Do you know where
we're
they're
just
at?
following orders.
Uh-huh. Look, they're all on duty. Last I saw Bartlett and Slocum, they were in E-Wing. Houghton's on her rounds. You know where we're...
Tell me, man.
You know how to find them.
I've never caught your name. Sorry. Nurse
Ratchet.
Ratchet. Question. We're here following up on 3 or 4 cases of I guess, kids being brought into the sanitarium. Like the
there's been
violent delinquents. I don't
there's
know.
been talk, yeah.
Like we know about the Washburn kid. I think I was told there's 2 or 3 more.
Unfortunately, that's not my kid. That's not my case. I
Are
can't.
any of those yours? Again, Dr. Sprague wants us to find out more.
Far as I know, it's only the one kid, and he ain't mine.
All right, so none of the, because we heard there were more, so I don't know.
According to the papers, they're both dead, right?
Yeah, this lady's not. Let's just keep. I guess we just walk down the hallways and start yelling out for this nurse and.
Yeah, but the rooms
And
have had it. It's not that loud.
And a good day to the both of you too, jerks. Slam.
Nurses.
Lovely lady.
I know, right?
That's why she works in the crazy house here.
Yeah, it fits the part too. All right, so
I was gonna say, please somebody tell me you caught that reference. Okay. Anyway, moving on. After maybe, let's see. You know what? This hospital's pretty big.
If we see anyone
I
walking
was
in the
gonna say,
hallways,
actually,
we'll
one
just
or
stop
both of
them.
you, please give me navigate.
navigate.
I put tons of points to navigate.
Yeah.
That was the first go-to.
007.
Well then,
007.
Somehow, your talent for direction serves you well. Somehow, you're not terribly surprised as you realize this, that all these narrow, like labyrinthine hallways of this hospital are very much like the alleys you grew up in.
And they have numbers next to them. They mean something.
fascinating.
So, the madhouse and the gutter, not terribly different. Anyway, so as it happens, you manage to not get horribly lost, and find your way to you see a couple. You see 2 guys who appear to match Bartlett and Slocum's descriptions. Coming out of another room where someone's just been admitted, it seems. They sort of start when they look at you, like they sort of glance at each other. Excuse me?
Bartlett? Slocum?
That's us. Bartlett says. He's maybe about 6'3", bright blonde hair, like think all-American boy. That's Bartlett. Slocum, maybe about a head shorter. If you had to guess, probably looks like dark brown hair, bright blue eyes, but has that sort of has a sort of almost nervous look about him, like he's more of a follower than Bartlett is.
So they're both about Shaw's size. Maybe Shaw's a bit bigger, but around there. Okay.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, and then I go reach out for my PI papers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Darius Shaw, private investigator. This is my associate. We have some questions on behalf of Dr. Vincent Sprague. I believe you know the good doctor.
At that, Bartlett's face clears. Oh, Dr. Sprague? Oh, sure.
Oh, Sprague, sorry.
What does he need?
I see.
Oh, well, we're here investigating this case, the Washburn boy. We want to know.
Psychology rolls, either of you, please.
Okay. I got a 12. That was a hard success.
Okay.
I failed miserably.
Okay, Clancy, you notice, and it's there for about maybe a second or so. Okay, first of all, can any of you guys hear me or see me? Because you all froze for a minute.
Yeah, I think you're better now, yeah.
Okay. Clancy, it's there and gone in about a second, but the minute you say Billy Washburn, like they sort of do like that, those sort of sideways glances at each other, like, oh God. But again, you would have missed it if you hadn't been looking.
Problems with the boy?
At this, Slocum kind of glances up to Bartlett, and Bartlett's like, "Well, you see, damnedest thing." So they bring him in after this vandalism. This kid, 12, goes around smashing windows with a baseball bat for no apparent reason. We didn't get it.
I've done that as a kid.
Really?
It's a baseball bat smashing
Didn't
things
get
for fun.
drug
What's
into
wrong
a
with you?
sanatorium over it. What else was he doing to get drug in here?
The weird thing is, he was like, I've seen kids do weird things, but this kid, he broke a policeman's arm. You don't normally see that out of a 12-year-old. They brought him in, and he was trying to think of the next word. Slocum jumps in. He was fighting like a hellcat. Like, it took both of us to try and restrain the kid.
Wait, you boys? And then, Darius sort of leans in a little bit. Really?
Yeah. Slocum nods very seriously. I thought we were gonna have to get Drake. He was thrashing so bad. Drake, Bartlett says, is built like a refrigerator and about as easily moved.
Is he drugged up in a straitjacket?
Now, see, that's the weird thing. We're trying to hold this kid down, the kid didn't admit, right? And then Harcourt comes up and goes to sedate him. Not the syringe stuff, the oral one. Don't ask me what it's called, I don't know. And then the damnedest thing happens. So nothing happens, right? And then Bartlett says, and then Slocum's like, but basically, that first sedative does nothing. That's the one you usually give when someone's having an episode like that, right? Nothing. But then they sort of glance at each other. Then the doc comes in with a different. The doc has to leave to go get a new drug. He comes back and this kid goes crazy. I mean, crazier. Like, he was fighting like everything that did away from us, wouldn't open his mouth for anything. Slocum snorts. I had to pinch his nose to open his mouth.
You think he's on something?
I don't know, but then they kind of both trail off, like they're not quite sure how to say this.
Then what?
Spit it out.
And Darius leans in a little bit more.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen sedatives work fast, Bartlett says, but the second one, the minute he swallowed it, it was like it barely had time to hit his stomach before he was puking.
Puking what?
I don't know. It looked almost like tar. It was this black stuff.
Bit too young to be chewing tar.
How long ago was this?
He came in a couple days ago. And then, this scared Jim half to, this scared Tommy half to death. He pukes up this black stuff, starts convulsing, eyes go back to his head, and he falls unconscious.
How long was this? How long did the entire thing last?
I don't know.
Like minutes?
It seemed like, I'm not really a doctor, so I couldn't tell you, but I mean, like I said, I've seen sedatives work fast, but I've seen it work fast, especially if they give them a lot, but that, I don't know, something just didn't seem, I don't know, it was strange.
Who had to clean up the puke?
Slocum frowns. We did.
What was it? I'm sure you've seen a lot of things coming out of a lot of different body parts in this building. Anything like it?
No, it's just, we've seen, I guess we both thought it was blood. Sometimes if someone's got blood in their stomach, it can do that, but I don't know. Maybe it was blood, maybe it wasn't. We weren't sure, we just mopped it. But I'll tell you, we both burned our mops afterward.
You guys just threw it down the sink, or what?
Yeah, we just mopped it up, threw out the water like we usually do. It's whatever it was, it's gone now.
Has it been acting up ever since, or?
No, I've not really been in there a lot, Bartlett says. I have, Slocum says. He seems, I don't know, he seems normal now. I don't know.
Can we talk to him? The doctor says
we can't, we're not the ones who can authorize patient visits.
We're told to go to his nurse next.
Oh,
and
Tammy Houghton, right?
yeah, maybe she can just let us in.
Maybe, but you'll have. But honestly, he's Dr. Harcourt's patient, and Dr. Harcourt's pretty territorial.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, where's Nurse Tammy?
I think she might be at the nurse's station on 2 currently.
No, that's Nurse Ratchet. She's a bitch.
We're not going back to her.
He's like, at the mention of Ratchet, both of them kind of like.
Mm-hmm. I've seen her.
You talked back to Ratchet?
Still have my eyes for now.
What is she gonna do to me?
Both of them are sort of like you've never seen 2 guys this big kind of cower before, but they're kind of cowering.
So,
Good luck with that, they say as they're taking their leave.
So we'll head towards where they say Nurse Tammy is, and maybe you could transition to the 2 others. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the plan. Okay, Dr. Sprague and Dr. Ramberg, you 2 are heading up to Dr. Harcourt's office.
Go up to his office and I go, Dr. Harcourt.
Sprague, come on in.
Hey, I thought I'd bring in a compatriot, a colleague of ours from Germany, Mr. Dr. Ramberg. He's a sociologist.
Oh, yes, I've heard. You're muted.
Yes, nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Adrian Ramberg. I've come all the way from Hamburg. I've heard quite terrible things, unfortunately, that bring me, but it is nice to make your acquaintance.
It is, and I've heard I've definitely kept up with the news coming out of Germany in this field. So
yes, things hopefully are getting better. Yeah,
we hope so. We hope so. But I was told you're looking into one of my patients.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe Billy Washburn. Billy Washburn is interned here.
He is. What do you need to know about him?
I was perhaps Sprague may have me.
Well, we're not trying to take. It's your case. You're the doctor. I've come to you to find out what's going on with that. Just to let you know, Harcourt, the sheriff has called me in to because he's concerned about the other children that have been negatively. We've had, if you've read the newspapers, there's been 3 children that have been doing strange things. And I was trying to find a connection between all 3 of them. And I thought, since you're his doctor here at the facility, you could fill me in. It's your case. I want to hear what you have to say about it. And Mr. Ramberg is here to give a perspective from his area of sociology. Through the sociologist.
a sociology. It's newer. I've been studying under several Austrian doctors who published many things recently, but
yes, of course.
I believe I could help in this rash of delinquency throughout your city. It perked my interest, and I believe I can be of use here to you, and perhaps learn a thing.
Of course. So, I suppose, what else do you need to know aside from what you've seen in the papers? My general medical opinion, what I've noticed?
I'd like to know what your medical opinion, what you've been seeing, what has anything worked, what regimen you're doing, what medications you have them on.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Aside from after we admitted him, I've not had him on anything but your standard mood stabilizers. But
and
the
behavioral change?
The admittance was a rather interesting time, I will say.
Oh, it was. What happened?
How so?
He was very violent. I'm sure if you read the papers, you'd know about that. Young boys of 12 don't just start smashing windows for no reason.
Oh, I completely agree.
But attacking a policeman and fighting the way he was, I had two of my stronger orderlies trying to hold him down, and they were having trouble.
So how did you deal with that?
Well, I'm sure you know, Dr. Sprague, I first tried sodium bromide orally, which did nothing. That's not uncommon to have happen.
No, it is not. You're correct.
But so then I went for the second line of potassium bromide. That one he didn't like. He became much more agitated. His struggle became much worse, and Mr. Bartlett had to pinch his nose to get him to open his mouth to take it.
What was that again? Potassium what?
Potassium bromide.
Interesting. I'm just writing notes.
Okay.
What have you been keeping? Like so then since then nothing.
And so what happened when that occurred?
After I administered the potassium bromide, he vomited, which it was a fairly large dose I gave him, so it wasn't unheard of. But the vomit was very tarry, black, nothing I'd ever really seen before. At first I thought it might have been melena, but that normally comes out the other direction, not the mouth.
Right.
Correct.
Did you happen to keep some samples of this black tarry substance?
We saw some similar case of this black tarry substance within the guts and stomachs of the other victims of this delinquency.
So internal bleeding in all three cases?
No, not bleeding, not blood, tar.
It's blackish tar. As you know, my brother is Ephraim is involved with this, with the two dead bodies, unfortunately. But I was able to find out that one of the two dead bodies had this black tarry substance in the stomach. And you have just confirmed that now we have a third person with this black tarry substance. And I'm hoping that maybe you might have kept a sample of this because this might be the connection.
I wish I could tell you that I did.
Well, as I try to find out what this stuff is, I'm thinking that this will make a great paper for us if this is some type of drug or material that causes some type of psychosis.
I'm listening.
Yes, I could use someone of your background to help me if I find out this is true of writing such a paper.
Of course, especially given I've had first contact with this patient.
Correct.
You'll certainly need my expertise.
Exactly. And, I figure, having Dr. Ramberg here giving it from the new science that's coming out will give it even more punch.
Of course.
I have plenty of colleagues in Vienna that would be very interested in everything here. And
of course, seeing as I had first contact with the patient, I should have first run on the paper.
Of course, your name
Of
would go
course.
first.
Of course.
I mean, of course. I mean, just imagine it. If we crack that this is something going on with 3 delinquents that's causing this issue, and just think what a big thing this will be in the academics. And
Oh,
this
of course. At this, I'm not even going to have you do psychology for this, because you get this.
Yes.
You can almost see the gleam of like,
research grants.
pretty much, yeah. like in his eyes, and more experiments, yes.
And not
Oh,
only
yeah.
that, but just imagine the new equipment we'll be able to get.
Oh yes, and all the new techniques and
And a chemical lab, because we would need to be able to do analysis.
of course, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's
Yes,
focus
true.
on
Let's focus, yes.
I must wonder. I would like Hare. What was his name? Sorry, Hare Harcourt.
Harcourt, yes.
Yes. I would like to. I did want to know and inquire. Is our subject? What's his name? His name is Billy Washburn. Is he lucid enough for interview? Perhaps this is of one of my most concerns right now.
And yes, of course, Dr. Romberg, as given your
If
specialty, you would like to speak with him
if you would
yourself.
allow me. If you would allow me, I feel this is where I can be the most.
In
useful.
fact, we would be honored if you joined us.
Of course,
and
of
yes,
course.
we would love your counsel and oversight.
Of course. In fact, let me see. He checks his schedule very quickly. It appears he's in his room right now. He's just been, as I said, he's weak. He's on some mood stabilizers, but he's conscious and able to speak. So if you wish to speak with him.
Oh,
Of
yes,
course.
yes. What we want to find out, Dr. Harcourt, is where has he been going? I'm thinking this is either a drug or something edible, or I want to find out what it is, where he's been going, what he's been getting to have ingested this.
Have you collected any samples of this black tar?
As I said before, Dr. Romberg, I wish I had, but at the time I was too concerned with getting him to calm to worry about the sample very much.
And rightly so. The patient is always first.
Of course, yes. And so the orderlies cleaned it up after that.
And I'm quite sure the orderlies probably just, threw it out with the wash.
Yes, unfortunately.
Well, who was to know at the time point the importance?
Of course.
But now that we know, we can keep an eye out if this occurs again.
Just in case. I do not wish to induce such a phenomenon to occur, though.
No, I agree. I hope no one else. But if we can find out the source, that will make the paper even more powerful, because then our clinical work has helped solve an issue, and that will make it so much more powerful.
Of course. All right, then follow me. I'll take you to his room.
Of course, doctor.
And with 4 grams.
Yep, 4 grams.
Like about that much, but sometimes a little less, but no more than that. You're muted.
Like just a bite?
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Could be a buildup over time too, if it's because some things don't go through the system.
Something ingested.
That somebody's slipping to the kids. Do they all have the same school in common?
They're all around the same age, like
high
12,
school and elementary or middle school.
Right, all at Eben Draper, right?
But some schools, like, is this Eben Draper school?
Eben Draper
multiple levels.
No. Eben Draper Elementary is the elementary, and then it's Arkham High.
There was one from.
So they go from elementary
school
to high. There's no junior high.
It's not listed here, but I'm assuming I'm going to go with, since this is my experience. I went to a Catholic school that had our junior high as part of the elementary, so that's what I'm going to assume is happening here.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can then assume that it's not happening at one school.
No, it's probably a lot of places, and it might not even be like noticed or reported on.
So
Although
maybe
they do say there are no other kids in the
so maybe it's
you
a
know.
new drug or something. I'm sorry, I'm
Is
not
it-
actually
Oh,
there.
no. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
As they're heading toward Billy's room, Mr. Hamner, we're going back to you. You're heading to the Marino house.
Yeah. I'm going to handle myself pretty much exactly the same way.
Okay.
And I mean, we can go through the whole thing, but or I can
I mean,
well,
do,
we can start
do,
it that way.
do,
It
you,
is
do you want me to
role
tear your heart out again? This time with a lot more Italian?
playing. Well, they might feed me.
Yeah, if you don't leave it, if you leave an Italian house hungry, someone failed.
um,
You'll need to eat cannoli.
well, I'm going to try to find out the same sort of things. Does he have friends? Has he been hanging out with anybody new? Is he involved with anything new?
Okay, so the address you're given for the Marinos is 508 South Peabody Avenue near West Pickman, also in the French Hill area.
Okay.
Um,
Same area.
you can tell when you reach the house, it's definitely on the older side, but it's still well kept.
Sure.
The Marinos, as you can tell by the last name, are an immigrant family from Italy. In fact, his mother, Antonella, speaks no English. Now, his father, Cristofero, but goes by Chris, owns a diner on the lower south side. That's easy enough information you could have gotten just from the police chief.
So he speaks well enough English that he can run a diner.
Yeah.
Right.
However, I'm not going to attempt an Italian accent.
Okay. Nor will I. But in this case, I'm showing up at the house. I don't know that Dad's at work. Probably he's at work.
Right.
So I knock on the door, same as before.
As actually when the door opens, you see Chris enters the door first. And in
Mr.
fact,
Marino.
yes.
I've been sent by the sheriff to speak with you about the recent incidents involving your son. I'm very sorry for your loss, and I don't want to intrude on your grief. There are a number of other children who seem to have somehow been involved and whose lives may be at risk. May I come in and ask you a few questions? I know this is very difficult right now.
We've already talked about this to the police, and after the incident with, I don't see how this is relevant to those other cases.
Well, the police are baffled, quite honestly. They have no idea what to do. So they have brought in people who have a little bit more insight and a little bit more, solving problems. The police have their own problems to deal with. I certainly don't want to intrude. If it's not too much trouble, I would like to ask you a few questions. And if you'd allow, I would like to take a look around his room.
You need to see his room. What exactly do you think you'll find there?
I don't know, but it's a matter of asking questions. You know, if this scientist didn't ask, what is this particular mold, then we wouldn't have penicillin today. So I need to sort of get a feel for it and see if there's something that stands out or something that makes sense. At the moment, I've just been to visit the other family.
The Dooleys?
Yes. Was your son and him friends?
Not that I know of. He's like, look, we're still mourning. We do not wish to speak of his death. If you want us to speak of him, we can perhaps, but his mother is not taking this well.
Oh, I imagine. I imagine that's very hard. To lose a child is, there's not even a word for it.
No.
But there are other children who we might be able to save if we can figure out what's going on here.
At the mention of other children, he. Santa Maria, you think there could be more?
Well, there's already been the two. There's been Dooley and there's been Washburn. Washburn's currently in the Arkham sanitarium.
He lived.
He was found quickly enough and restrained, yes. There could be more. We don't know what's causing this. I'm going to ask you some hard questions. Do you know if your son indulged in any kind of recreational drug?
No.
No.
No, his mother would have had his hide.
Did he smoke at all?
Sometimes he was a good kid. He didn't do any of that sort of thing. He kept to himself. He was one of those. He didn't talk to a lot of people. Kept to himself. Wasn't the. I mean, we're Italian. If we aren't talking to you, we don't like you. But of course, there's also us who aren't like big extroverts or whatever you want to say it. But he was a good boy. He didn't cause trouble. No enemies I knew about. Had some friends.
Did he have any hobbies or things that he'd like to do? Sports or book club or anything like that?
He was more of the hands-on type and was focused more on his studies, I thought. But as for hobbies, I mean, he helped at the diner sometimes. He'd sometimes go out and see friends. Normal teenage boy, really.
Yes, so far I can see why the police are having trouble. All three boys up until this moment seem to have been perfectly normal. We're thinking that the origin of whatever the problem may be is not coming from the boys. It's coming from someone on the outside or somewhere on the outside. That's why we're trying to find out where they've been.
You think they've been targeted?
Well, I don't know about targeted.
He's not exactly listening because he's starting to work up into like this angry tirade because oh my.
I mean, would you mind if you could come with me, of course, we could look in his room and see if there's anything that makes a connection. I was able to look in the other boy's room, Mr. Dooley's room, and I honestly didn't find anything.
He
so
kind
I
of
don't know.
Thinks about it. If you think it'll help, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what good it'll do, but I suppose you can look.
All right. I'll then get out of your hair.
He does yell back to his wife. You're guessing it's something like someone from the police is here. He wants to look in Lou's room. That's why he's in here. That sort of. Again, you're not sure exactly if that's what he's saying, but that's probably something like that.
Right. They're probably all dressed in black at this point anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of black drapes everywhere. There's definitely a lot of candles. There's like, you get in there, it is chock-a-block with people.
So I will do what I said. I'm going to go and look in the room. Do I do a spot hidden again?
Yes, go right ahead, please.
05.
Oh, nice. Okay, so again, teenage boy, aside from some interesting art you find under a floorboard, and maybe a cupcake wrapper in the bedpost, nothing really sticks out too much, except, and let me check this very quickly, because I need to make sure this is right. Okay. But then you notice, because you got that extreme success on the cupcake wrapper, you think you see what look like black specks.
Now, if you recall, I don't know anything about the black stuff yet.
Correct.
So
next to
I'm still going to take it. Yeah.
right, but but here's the odd thing is that this was looked like according to the crumbs in the wrapper, it was probably a white cupcake, and most white cupcakes. And at first you thought it should have been dirt
Or poppy seeds.
or poppy seeds or something, but these black specks, they don't. The light doesn't hit it right.
All right. I will fold that up carefully and add it to my evidence. And I say to the father, I'm like, I don't see anything else. Did your wife make cupcakes, or do you think you got this from school?
I mean, we contacted a local bakery to sell some at the diner, but no, my wife, she makes all the Italian sweets.
Could he have gotten this from the diner?
He's like, I don't think so. Oh, Santa Maria, you think something might have been poisoned at work?
No, not necessarily. The chances of your son picking one thing, we would have had far many incidents, but I was actually trying to more establish that it wasn't, that somebody gave this to him.
Let me see that wrapper.
Well, I show him the wrapper. I've got it folded because there's some substance in there that I want to make sure is.
No, that doesn't look like any wrappers that we would have sold. No.
All right. Well, everything else, nothing else seems out of the ordinary.
Right.
All right. Nothing else seems unusual. I give him my card, and I tell him the same thing. If there's anything that you need, please contact me. If there's anything you remember, please contact me. And
actually, suddenly he remembers something. Wait a minute. Looks at that wrapper again.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything we would have sold, but I think I remember a batch of these made maybe in the last week or two, but who made them? Maybe it was one of our neighbors. I don't know.
All right. Well, if I need anything, I'll give you a contact, and I'll certainly keep you. We want to find out who's doing this, and we will keep you informed.
Thank you.
And with that, I leave.
Right, and as you're leaving from the house next door, you see some people like looking through like windows and trying, but not trying to look like they're being obvious about it. But because there's a lot going on and that sort of thing.
I make note of the address.
Okay, that was 510 South Peabody Avenue. All right, we are going back to the sanitarium, and actually, Darius and Clancy, as you're going to try and find the nurse, Houghton, all of a sudden, give me a listen check, both of you.
Okay. 11 over 25.
Okay.
Hard.
Okay.
I don't think I passed. Go ahead.
Okay, so you hear what's Shaw. You hear two things. First thing, you hear someone yelling, "What are they doing to that car?" Like it's very faint, like it's coming from outside, and then you hear what sounds like breaking glass.
Wait, Philip, did we drive your car or my car?
For this, Shaw, they took yours.
Shit, it's my car. So Shaw like just starts running out. And then I'll tell Philip, someone's messing with my car.
How do you know that? We're in the middle
I have
of
good ears.
Oh my God! You hear somebody from the street shouting? Oh my God! Was that a headlight?
Shit, my car. I just keep running out, pushing past whatever, relying on my earlier navigation roll to hopefully find my way out because I can't afford to fix a car.
Right.
I don't have that much money.
Right. Somehow you make it out there. And about
Those are
100.
1920s cars. It could probably take a beating, you know?
But you definitely hear like some very rhythmic thwack, 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 wood on metal, glass breaking. All of a sudden, as you get a little bit closer, you see a young boy in front of the car with a baseball bat. One of your headlights is broken. There's glass everywhere. And all of a sudden, because you got that good listen check before, you all of a sudden you hear like a pop. And one side of your car starts to sink.
So Shaw's going to rush out as he's rushing to the, kid. He's gonna, holler, "Hey, punk, cut it out!" And tries to
Clancy's
scare
trailing
the
behind.
kid.
The boy spins and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this yours, fuddy dud? Go to hell!"
He's not stopping. Shaw is just rushing at the kid. Game face on. I'll be glad to run my wonderful intimidation roll.
Actually, hold that thought for next
right.
time. Because what you're going to see next is popping up in the driver's seat. Is a girl about his age, blonde pigtails. So they're both blonde, like maybe these both look to be like fairly young kids. She's behind the wheel, sticks out her tongue at you, and then goes to go and has a pretty good sized knife in her hand as she's going back to go for another tire. But what you also see, Shaw, is that dragging behind her is something that Clancy didn't know was there. It was under your seat. You don't notice it right away, Clancy, but all of a sudden you see what looks like blue petals on the ground, like dragging out of looked like a piece of wrapped paper with a few odd-looking leaves here and there.
Shaw is reaching into his jacket and putting on his brass knuckles.
And that is where we're going to end it tonight.
Our players included Thomas Broom as Dexter Yoke and Billy Chung, Oren Meyer, and myself with Jen Obertacz as the Keeper of the Secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the fine arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.